welcome back to another Get Lit podcast here today, with our topic being drones in geology and STEM education. We have another amazing guest here with us today. Can you please introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, my name's Kevin Urbancyzk, and I'm in geology at Solros, and I'm director of the Rio Grande Research Center, also a research center on campus.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's such a pleasure to have you here today. We are so thankful that you took time out of your schedule here to meet with us today. And we wanted to discuss a few topics. So my first question for you is, how are drones changing the way we teach geology and STEM programs?
Okay. I'll start with geology. Geology is a very field-based and somewhat descriptive in some ways science. And being field-based, oftentimes if you're with students in the field and you are mapping and describing a terrain, oftentimes, in fact, as a student myself, I used to wish I could be like those birds. I could go up and look down.
Yes, sir.
And the drones kind of make that possible. You can go up and get different perspectives because it's a very three-dimensional thing too.
It is.
So seeing things from different perspectives and different altitudes is really beneficial for geology. And then in other STEM disciplines in general, I use it a lot for mapping, a lot of different types of mapping. So drones are maybe not very applicable to the analytical chemist or something.
Yeah.
But if you're field-based, if you're working outside, that's when they really are useful.
I agree. Yes, sir. So what hands-on activities can students do with drones to learn about geological processes?
Yeah. I'll start here with what I usually do. So I'm mapping stream channels and trying to collect the kind of information, basically a three-dimensional model is what we make. And then we either do some restoration activity, which might contribute to sediment deposition or erosion. So after that happens, you come out and map it again. And then you compare those two surfaces to see how you can quantify how the channel has changed. And this is part of overall restoration activities that we're used to, or that we do. Getting students involved means that they go out with me. They use very high precision survey instruments to create targets so we can make the maps comparable, because they're geo-referenced is the term.
Yes, sir.
And then the students also learn the flight process. We use an autonomous flight thing. It's really fun. You pre-program a map route, and you push the button. The drone goes up, and we call it mowing the lawn. It just rasters across a rectangular area on its own, and when it's finished, it comes back.
Wow.
It's pretty fun. You have to kind of guide it back because it doesn't always come right back where it's supposed to, but otherwise, and there are some flight skills that are required. But the autonomous thing is really fun to do.
Wow.
And interesting to watch it happen,
Yes, sir. Yeah. And I bet it's so engaging for the students.
It is. They get to be involved, in every aspect. And that's not just out there. You go out there, you collect the data, but then you come back and on screen, you have to look at all of these images. Because basically what the drone is doing, and the way I do it, this mapping technology, is as it's flying, it's taking a whole sequence of photographs. All of them are overlapping. And then the software can create a three-dimensional model from those overlapping photographs.
Technology is such an
it's
amazing
pretty cool.
tool.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So what skills do students use? What skills do students gain from using drones in these geological studies?
They learn, in the application I'm talking about, they learn spatial coordinates. They learn how XYZ is described on the Earth in a very quantitative way, and they learn how to locate things. And that's with high precision GPS that the drones take advantage of. But they also learn basic flight. I mean, that is actually part of the drone flight thing is having an FAA certification. And if you can get students prepared to take that and pass that test, then they learn a lot about.
That's such an advantage.
Yeah, it is. And then that's transferable to other things outside of, 100%. Just this mapping application that I do.
Yes, sir. So what future trends do you see drones in geology and STEM education?
They're going to become more and more prevalent. just the concept of helping us visualize 3D terrain. So maybe you're not mapping, you're just trying to understand this complex sequence of rock outcrops or whatever. That perspective thing is very, very valuable. So that's going to keep happening. The quantitative mapping, like I described with the autonomous flight, that's going to become more prevalent also. It's a very economical way of making these maps, the way we do it. There's a couple of terms here that are associated with this technology. LiDAR might be a term you've heard.
Yes, sir.
Like iPhones today are coming with LiDAR. It's a way to make these models. Drones that have LiDAR instrumentation on them are very expensive. Drones that can take a picture with just a basic camera are much less expensive.
Yeah.
So using the technology that makes the same kind of 3D map model with overlapping pictures is much more economical, which is why I think it's going to really be prevalent.
It is.
And it already is.
Yes, sir.
But and LiDAR is a good tool. It's just a lot more expensive. But maybe students can learn both,
100%,
There we go.
100%.
Yeah.
And that's such an advantage to have to, learn both.
Yeah.
And that leads me to my last question. What advice do you have for educators looking to integrate drones into their geology curriculum?
A couple of things. Be sure that you get your FAA certification.
100%.
And then have a 1-hour class maybe to train students to get that certification.
Okay.
Because really that's we're professionals, right? We need to be certified.
Yes, sir.
And so we need to train students to be able to do that. And then they would have that certificate when they left. So that's one thing as an educator to do that. Another thing is you kind of need to get a fleet. Because right now, I don't even have that. I've got a grant that's supposed to get us some more training drones in the future. Because now I've got 2 research drones and I train students on them.
Yes, sir.
But then that means that everybody has to take their turn. And if you had 5 or 10 just smaller, inexpensive drones, it would be great to be able to have that
resources.
training, right? And train the autonomous flight and the concepts of just the flight stuff. It's fun, it's like a video game, but it does take some skill.
It does.
So it really helps to practice and to do the training. And the more drones that you have to let them use, the more flight time they're going to get, That's what it'd be like.
More practice leads to them getting better at it.
That's right. That's right. And learning more about it. And, there's so many other things beyond stream restoration that drones are used out there in the work world. You can use them to inspect roofs.
Exactly.
You can use them to look for heat loss in the winter. Farmers in agricultural settings, you can use them to map and look at crop health, basically. And then you can use them to target some kind of a remedial activity, too.
Wow.
Like if you had a drone that could spray an herbicide or something, instead of spraying the whole field, you can go right where it needs it and do it, or that kind of thing. It's just amazing you can do.
It is.
With this technology.
It is.
Yeah.
I read that Amazon is launching a new program to where they're going to have drones delivering things
That's a
within
little scary, but yeah.
5 to 30 minutes.
I know.
Your door
Yeah.
using drones.
Yeah, that's a little scary.
It is.
The
man.
thought of a bunch of them just flying around on their own is, well.
Who knows how that's going to go, but this has definitely been one of my favorite interviews. Thanking you.
You're welcome.
Once again for taking your time out to come talk to us about drones and geology and STEM education. We appreciate you so much.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.